Someone is sitting at a kitchen table in a two-bedroom apartment they've rented for 6 years, looking at a letter confirming their lease renewal at $2,400 a month. They've been saving, carefully, consistently, for 3 years. They have $50,000 set aside, more than they thought possible. And last week, they looked at what that $50,000 covers as a down payment on a $250,000 home in the Los Angeles metro area and found a 427-square-foot studio with no parking and a shared laundry room in the basement. That situation is not unusual. It is the current arithmetic of homeownership in California, New York, and a growing list of cities where the income required to purchase a median-priced home has become disconnected from the income that actual jobs in those cities pay. This video is not about leaving your city. That is your decision and nobody else's. What it is about is showing what $250,000, a number that buys almost nothing in high-cost markets, actually purchases in 5 other states right now, based on active listing data pulled from Realtor.com at the time of this research. The properties are real. The prices are real. And for every property, there is one honest limitation and one honest reason it might genuinely work for the right person. State number 1, Kentucky. Kentucky's median home price sits at approximately $210,000 in 2026. More than $225,000 below the national median. In certain markets within the state, $250,000 is not a budget. It is a significant purchasing position. The property, a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom brick ranch home in the Lexington metro area. 1,680 square feet. Attached 2-car garage. Updated kitchen with granite countertops and stainless steel appliances. Covered back deck overlooking a half-acre lot. A workshop building at the rear of the property. Currently listed at $249,000 based on Realtor.com data at the time of research. What this budget gets you in Kentucky is a complete, fully functional family home on a half-acre lot with an attached garage and a separate outbuilding in a metro area that has genuine economic infrastructure. Lexington is the home of the University of Kentucky, a major research institution and one of the region's largest employers. The healthcare sector, anchored by UK Healthcare E, provides additional employment stability. Toyota's Georgetown assembly plant is 30 minutes north and employs thousands of skilled manufacturing workers in a permanent facility. Yet the honest limitation, Lexington's job market, while real, is not interchangeable with a major coastal metro. The technology sector specifically is thin compared to what someone relocating from a Bay Area or Seattle job market would be accustomed to. Remote work compatibility with a Lexington address exists. Broadband infrastructure in the city proper is reliable. But the professional network density that exists in major tech hubs does not transfer. A buyer relocating for lifestyle cost reasons while continuing remote work will find the infrastructure adequate. A buyer relocating to access a local job market comparable to a major tech corridor will find the comparison less favorable. The honest reason it might work. For a household that has secured remote work income and is specifically looking to purchase a functional family home on a half-acre lot with storage space and a garage, in a market where $249,000 accomplishes that, Kentucky is not a compromise. It is a different calculation. State number 2. Indiana's median home price sits at approximately $255,000 in 2026, right at the national conversation threshold. But that median is significantly influenced by Indianapolis metro pricing. In smaller Indiana cities that still have genuine economic activity, $250,000 is a meaningfully higher purchasing position than the statewide median suggests. The property, a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bathroom craftsman-style home in Anderson, Indiana. 2,100 square feet across 2 floors. Full basement partially finished, updated bathrooms, original hardwood floors on the main level, a covered front porch, and a private backyard. Us listed at $229,000. At $229,000, a buyer with a $250,000 budget in this market has $21,000 in reserve beyond the purchase. Available for closing costs, initial maintenance, or a renovation fund. That reserve does not exist as a functional concept in a $250,000 California purchase. Anderson is located approximately 35 minutes northeast of Indianapolis by car. The city has a manufacturing and healthcare base that employs without requiring the buyer to choose between housing affordability and economic access. Ascension St. Vincent Anderson Hospital is a significant local employer. The Indianapolis metro commute is viable for buyers who travel periodically rather than daily. The honest limitation: Anderson, like many smaller Midwest cities, has a vacancy rate in certain neighborhoods that reflects decades of population decline following the contraction of automotive manufacturing. Not every block in Anderson looks like the craftsman described above. Neighborhood-level research using county assessor data and walking the specific street on a weekday afternoon is the due diligence step that cannot be replaced by a listing-based analysis. The home can be sound, and the street can still raise questions that a buyer needs to resolve before committing. Channels like this exist because people are looking for real options, not hype, not guarantees. If that's what you're looking for, this channel is worth following. No pressure. The honest reason it might work: for a buyer who needs a large home and has the Indianapolis commute option available, in $229,000 for 2,100 square feet with a basement, hardwood floors, and a reserve fund is a different category of purchase than anything the same budget reaches in a high-cost market. State number 3. Missouri's housing market is bifurcated between Kansas City, which has become the top appreciating major metro in the country, and a large rural and small city market where $250,000 remains a purchasing position that builds real equity without requiring a rural trade-off. The property: a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom home in Springfield, Missouri. 2,400 square feet. Attached 2-car garage. Updated kitchen. Dedicated home office on the main floor. Large fenced backyard. Listed at $239,000. Springfield is Missouri's 3rd largest city and carries one of the most stable small city economies in the Midwest. Bass Pro Shops is headquartered here. The Mercy and Cox Health Hospital systems are both major employers. Missouri State University and Drury University provide educational infrastructure that attracts and retains a professional resident population. The city has consistent population stability. Not the rapid growth that inflates prices, and not the population loss that suppresses economic activity. What $239,000 gets you here? A 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom home with a dedicated office, a 2-car garage, and a fenced backyard. In square footage terms, 2,400 square feet. This represents more than 5 times what $250,000 reaches in most Bay Area markets. The honest limitation: Springfield is a genuine small city with genuine small city constraints. The cultural density, restaurant diversity, and entertainment infrastructure of a major metro area are not present at the same scale. For buyers who have built a life around a specific urban experience, this is a real adjustment. For buyers who are specifically seeking a quieter environment with more space, this is not a constraint. It is the stated objective. The honest reason it might work: $239,000 for a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom home with an office and a garage in a stable, employer-anchored city is not a compromise transaction. It is a different category of property ownership from anything available at this price in a high-cost market. Not every option here is right for everyone. That is the entire point. The goal is not relocation as a solution to a housing problem. The goal is a complete picture of what $250,000 actually purchases in different markets, so that the decision, whatever it is made with accurate information. State number 4. Kansas does not have a reputation that generates housing enthusiasm. That is precisely why its pricing is what it is in 2026. Wichita, the state's largest city, has an aviation manufacturing economy that employs tens of thousands of skilled workers in Boeing, Spirit Aerosystems, and Cessna operations that have been present in the city for decades. This is not a speculative employer base. It is a permanent manufacturing infrastructure. The property: a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom ranch home in Wichita. 1,900 square feet. Updated interior throughout. New flooring, updated bathrooms, modern kitchen. Now a large lot of approximately 10,000 square feet, listed at $244,000. What this budget gets you in Wichita is complete, updated, fully functional housing with amenities that represents a different category of property experience from what the same money reaches in any high-cost market. The honest limitation. Wichita sits in the heart of Tornado Alley. The homeowners insurance market in Kansas has experienced significant disruption over the last 3 years. Multiple national carriers have restricted new policy issuance in the state, and the carriers that remain have increased premiums substantially. A home in Wichita will carry an annual insurance cost in the range of $2,500 to $4,500, depending on construction details and specific zip code. That cost must be obtained as an actual quote before any offer is made. The listing price does not include it, and it materially affects total monthly ownership cost. The honest reason it might work. For a household that has verified insurance availability and cost at the specific address and found the numbers acceptable, $244,000 for a home with and a large lot is not available anywhere else in the country at this price. State number 5, West Virginia. West Virginia is the most counterintuitive entry on this list, and intentionally so. The state's reputation, persistent economic challenge, population decline, like infrastructure deficits, is grounded in real historical data. So is its pricing. The state median sits at approximately $152,000, the second lowest in the country. At $250,000 in West Virginia, a buyer is not purchasing a starter home. They are purchasing a property that represents a fundamentally different relationship with land and space than anything available in a high-cost market. The property. A 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom farmhouse on 12 acres in Jefferson County, West Virginia. Built in the 1940s. 1,800 square feet. Updated kitchen and bathrooms. A renovated barn on the property. A creek. Views of the Blue Ridge foothills. Listed at $247,000. Jefferson County is located in the Eastern Panhandle, the part of West Virginia that is 70 miles from Washington, D.C., and accessible to the D.C. Metro via the MARC commuter rail from Martinsburg. This is the part of West Virginia that functions as an exurban escape rather than an isolated rural location. The county has attracted residents from the D.C. Metro for decades. It has reliable broadband in the county seat areas. It has a functioning service economy. What $247,000 gets you here? A farmhouse on 12 acres with a barn and a creek. Land, actual land, with a renovated structure that is livable today. The acreage component alone, 12 acres of West Virginia land, would carry a significantly higher price in any state east of the Mississippi with comparable natural characteristics. The honest limitation. This property requires a buyer who is specifically oriented toward rural living, land ownership, and self-sufficient property management. A 1940s farmhouse, and however renovated, will present maintenance demands and rural infrastructure realities, well and septic systems, propane heating, seasonal road conditions, that an urban or suburban background does not prepare someone for. The transition from city living to 12 acres in Jefferson County is not a lifestyle adjustment. It is a lifestyle change. Buyers who have not lived with well water, septic management, and rural property maintenance should spend time in this environment before purchasing rather than after. The honest reason it might work. For a buyer who has specifically decided that land, space, and a reduced cost of living are the objective, and has done the research on what rural property ownership actually requires. $247,000 for a 12-acre farmhouse with a barn, 70 miles from a major metro via commuter rail, does not have a comparable option anywhere in the eastern United States. 5 states, 5 properties, each one was purchased for $250,000 or less in active markets, based on listing data at the time of this research. Each one represents a fundamentally different relationship between budget and outcome than what the same money produces in California, New York, or any market where the median home price has lost its connection to local income reality. None of these is perfect, The Kentucky property is in a job market that doesn't match a tech corridor. The Indiana home requires street-level research that a listing page won't provide. The Missouri city is genuinely smaller than a major metro. The Kansas property requires an insurance verification step before any other evaluation. And the West Virginia farmhouse requires a complete lifestyle readiness assessment before any offer. These limitations are not reasons to dismiss the options. They are the information required to make a real decision rather than an emotional one. Every housing purchase involves trade-offs. The question is whether those trade-offs are being made consciously, with accurate information about what the alternative actually looks like. Real options exist. They look different from what the coastal housing conversation leads people to believe is possible. The research is available. The decision is always yours.